That was my cue.
Was the cue. What's up, guys? I'm Drew.
I'm Casey.
And we are Humble Media. So today, we wanted to do the first video in what we're gonna call our breakdown series, where we go back through some of the content we've produced and just sort of go through all the behind the scenes details.
We're gonna start out with our good friend, Brittany, AKA Ego, for her music video, VISIONS.
So how this is gonna work, we're just gonna kind of step through everything that went into filming the video, from the pre-production, kind of what our idea was and how that evolved into what the final product was and how we actually shot it, what challenges we faced, and kind of just everything we did to get it from an initial idea to a finished product.
So we shot this with my old A7 III and the A7 III and the Sigma Art 50mm 1.4, which is one of my favorite lenses of all time. It just has this like cinematic look straight out of camera. I think Sigma glass is just, it has its own character. So we kind of wanted to go into it with that in mind and treat it as more of a short film.
For lighting, the video is kind of split into two parts, which you'll see as we drop some footage in. The first half of it was more of a natural lighting, so we basically just used the lighting and the location. For the second half, it was kind of more of a surreal, trippy type of vibe, and we used, I think it was 5 different Yongnuo YN360 RGB ones. They're really nifty little lights you can get for about, what, $100 all in with the light and charger. Can do all kinds of different RGB colors, can control it from your phone, which we actually used for the video. It's just pretty nifty. We kind of use those for everything we do.
So the way I wanted to go into it, start off kind of stationary for a lot of the shots, just to get you into the story. And as we get into it, the story kind of builds. So I moved to more handheld footage to make it feel uneasy. We used the Ronin M for one shot, and it was at the very end. So we had a really cool setup that was only used for one shot with the small rig double head clamp thing. Oops.
This little crab clamp. I think we used this for most of the whole second half, didn't we?
We did, yeah. It was fun to see how that balanced on the Ronin M,
yeah,
the whole setup. But it worked out really well, and again, as you'll see shortly, the second half of the video was kind of tripping. So we wanted to have this spacious kind of...
Everything just sort of flowing from one thing to another. I guess the feel, the whole night just disappearing into one long thing.
We used one of the popular triangle-looking prisms.
If you're not familiar, it's just a 3-sided glass prism. You hold it right up next to the lens and it'll kind of refract whatever's around it. And how we used that was with the crab clamp, just clamped it down, just kind of rigged it together, screwed it into the camera cage, and kind of held it in front of the lens that way.
We went through, I think, 4 or 5 different versions of the video. Something we learned through this whole process was that, you know, we want to be ambitious, but we also have to be realistic about what's achievable, considering time restraints and location restraints.
Well, for setup, the location was, it's a bar, and it has kind of a big conference room type of open area next to kind of a bar and restaurant indoor place, and we mainly just shot over at the one half of the room bar location. We started shooting at daytime, but we wanted to have a night vibe, so we ended up propping up some folding tables outside. There's our doors that go out to a balcony, and we propped up folding tables against it to block out the sunlight, close all the curtains and everything to kind of fake a nighttime while we were waiting for the sun to set. So
if we watch through here, first shot is her walking up the stairs and opening this sliding door, which this man actually was the doorman per se. And again, this is all shot with the Sigma 50mm. So we wanted to show that she was by herself, and she kind of feels uneasy. We did a couple close-ups of her face and just different shots of her emotions. So we see her kind of looking around at whoever's there, and you can see that she's kind of unhappy. So this was a really cool shot that was actually Breyer's idea. So he had this really cool idea of showing these two guys kind of just looking over at her.
It kind of adds to her sort of paranoia, that her unease with being there, kind of feeling like she's not entirely welcome.
Right after that shot, we see the spirit guide just watching her. It's almost like we wanted to show that she felt that someone was looking at her, you know, that feeling you get when someone's looking at you. So she looks over and spirit guide's not there, so she gets a little weirded out. She
decides to just kind of stand up and then comes face to face and actually confronts her. Well, I guess gets confronted.
This section is really cool because we wanted this little vial. We wanted to have like a glow in the dark look to it, but obviously we didn't have anything glow in the dark. So what we did was we grabbed our trusty old Yongnuo YN360s.
I was standing just out of frame, like just below her, and just kind of rotated it up into frame. In retrospect, I think it's obvious that it's not actually glowing, but it still gives it kind of a cool effect, I think.
She's looking at it, trying to figure out what it is, and then here's where, when I was coming back around to show that the spirit guide wasn't there, I wanted it to feel a little, that uneasy feeling. Her in the bathroom.
We basically repeated the same type of setup here with the young Nuo, just rotated it up in the frame as she pulled the vial out to look at it.
I do want to point out that all of this whole video was shot in manual focus, just because I wanted to have there's a few focus pulls in there, which you'll see in the video. But here was a really cool spot where I wanted to focus on the vial and then her in the mirror, and then back to her drinking the vial. So if we continue on, right as she pulls up the vial, we do...
I love that transition.
There's a transition.
It's so good.
Where you panned, I panned across the side of the stall, and it's white, so it was the perfect place to do a cut. And then here's where that tripping feeling comes in, and where we use the prism. These shots were we started to really crank up the colors with the Yongnuos.
For this shot in the bathroom, we were just using the Bluetooth app, and it just has a color wheel where you can select colors, and we were just rotating the wheel just to have it cycling through all the different colors.
You can see that it kind of trails a little bit, and the way I got that throughout the rest of the video was literally just made 3 tracks, and the track above the main one and then the one above that, they're just a few frames behind. And I brought the transparency down. So it's a really simple, easy way to do it.
Yeah, just kind of her trying to figure out what's going on, just sort of feeling the effects of it, and cool rotations, playing around with the prism and lighting.
So this set, I think, is kind of a weird color choice with the lighting.
Yeah, we wanted something that was gonna be kind of just a little almost unsettling. We just wanted to do something a little different, a little trippy, weird vibe to it. We have 4 main lights just on the different corners of the bar, and we have the color matches on the opposite corner. So we have a green and orange on one side, and then flipped a green and orange on the other side. And then we had 1 light underneath the bar shining up on the bartender to give him kind of a weird, sort of menacing type of look.
Now we have people, you can see Briar there. You can see everyone's dancing. We wanted to portray this different dimension and how everyone was acting completely the opposite of
in the first half of the video.
Right. So, fun fact, the girl dancing facing the opposite way of the camera is actually the spirit guide. So we wanted to kind of sneak her in. She had a different dress on. It's kind of like a little Easter egg.
This was a fun shot.
Probably one of the funnest shots I've been part of. So we wanted to achieve this without doing a cut, which proved to be a little tough.
You panned across her, and Ralph would just dive to the ground, and he just made this thump as he was hitting the ground.
Yeah, I literally dove down, so it was just a fun experience. I don't know if people think that that's an actual cut, but it's not, and I think we're kind of proud of that. If you look at all the white in the bar, like behind the bar, and I guess throughout the bar itself. Those are all natural.
We thought they kind of worked with the feeling, so.
She gets pulled into the crowd of people dancing to kind of forget about all of this weird stuff that's happening. So we just have a montage.
Yeah, she just finally lets go of her inhibitions and just decides to just go with it.
You know, I talked about going handheld to get more of an uneasy feeling. Once we started into the tripping scenes, I wanted to be more flowy. We shot 1080-60 on the A7 III because we knew we were going to have some slow motion, as you'll see in this section. So I think altogether that smoothness and just kind of carefree movement of the camera and everybody dancing just gave a really cool effect. And with the prism and all the lights bouncing off, I think it looks great.
I'm actually in there somewhere just really awkwardly shuffling around. I don't know if I've never really tried to spot me in there, but I don't know if I made it into the final cut, but yeah.
Don't worry, I'll put up, if I have a clip of you in there, it's gonna be in here. I got a really cool shot of Ralph vibing behind the bar.
I love the head bob.
I think we all wanted that in there.
Yeah.
And then the last shot is her spinning up, and I transitioned that to this shot, which is the one and only shot with the Ronin. The thought process behind this is kind of showing that her spirit guide is definitely in control. She's almost like a puppeteer.
Yeah, she's just pulling the strings.
And I'm just backing up with the Ronin. You can see her putting hands up and just kind of knocking people out. And if you watch closely, Ralph just takes one for the team in there, and she just kind of walks away, and I wanted her to just kind of walk out of frame. And then we kind of just pan down, and then we cut on Brittany to black. And that's the video. That
end shot, I think you actually punched in on it a little, didn't you?
Oh, I punched in quite a bit because you can see Janie's feet at the end if I didn't punch in. So you see her walk away and then walk back into frame because we didn't really know how much we were keeping at the time. So I punched in a lot, but I think it was a cool effect. It definitely changed from the original ideas we had. But like I said before, I think based on the time and location restraints we had, I think what we made was really cool, and couldn't have done it without literally everybody involved. Like there was no person just standing on the side and not doing anything. So
yeah.
Thank you to Brittany for letting us just do this project and have a lot of creative input in it.
You guys should check out what Brittany and Ralph and Briar are doing now too. They're doing some real good work. We'll put links to everything they're doing in the description for this. But yeah, just always want to support our friends and fellow creatives. We both like to nerd out over the technical side of how these things come together and watch these type of videos of how people are doing them. We feel like there aren't a whole lot of people that we've seen that actually go through the entire process from beginning to end. So we just felt like it could be cool to sort of document that. Not promising that the way we're doing things is the proper or most professional way to do things. We're just kind of trying to figure it out. So if anyone finds it helpful or interesting, then that's awesome.
Yeah, if you have any suggestions or if you like this content, feel free to leave a message. Let us know what you think. Subscribe. If you want to check out our work, you can hit up our website at homemediaco.com. We'll have links to everything again in the description. Yeah, if you like that, let us know. Excited to do more of these, and guess we'll see you in the next one.
All right, awesome, thanks.
Bye.
See you guys.
A lot of...
Maybe.